So this humble piece of paper right here might be the most important piece of paper currently in my possession. But why is this piece of paper so important? That's because this paper gives me written permission to fly my paramotor at the park. Now, before we get into this video, I'm excited to announce we just released some brand new designs through Risky Biscuits Co. These new t-shirts feature a distressed Risky Biscuits logo on the chest and the patriotic flag Risky Biscuits on the back. They come in this nice olive color, along with a heathered gray, and the super cool brand new kind of muted red. We've also got some brand new flag sticker decals. Put these on water bottles, phones, paramotors, wherever. This new design will be limited edition, so it won't be around for long. If you like the design, make sure you pick it up now before it's gone forever. And this weekend till Sunday at midnight Eastern Standard Time, we're including a free Risky Biscuit sticker in every order. Now, let's get into the park discussion and see how I'm legally allowed to fly back at the park again. So last November, I made a video titled "Banned from Our Favorite Flying Site?" Since that video happened so long ago, let me give you guys a little refresher on what that was all about. So let's take it way back to the beginning. In 2013, I learned how to fly down in Florida. I came back home to New Jersey, and the park was one of the first sites that I started flying from. It was a beautiful site, manicured grass fields, situated right in the middle of the valley, with tons of farmland around, just a really beautiful place to fly from. But in the last 2 to 3 years, there's definitely been an explosion in growth in this sport, and inevitably more and more pilots flying out of the park led to more and more complaints to the township. About a year ago was around the first time we started to hear that there might be some changes put in place. But last fall, things got a bit more serious. There was talk of creating a new permit system and laying out some rules for paramotor pilots flying at the park. The general sentiment was that they didn't want to ban it, but they wanted to step in essentially to slow down the growth and limit the amount of pilots, make things a little safer. So the idea of a permit system and some rules was thrown around. But then one day, we showed up at the park and there was a sign that said you have to have written permission from the township. It was a surprise to us all. And it was at this time that I made that last video in November. We're at a point that we really didn't know what was gonna happen. They didn't have any official rules out or a permit system in place. And we were just hoping that the permit would be affordable, easy to get, and it would really be a good compromise for us as paramotor pilots and for the township and all the residents. Since then, a lot has happened, so let's catch up on some of that. From the last episode I made, there's been some ups and downs. First off, right before we left on our last van life trip, we got the permit. They put it in place. So some of the requirements to get a permit, you have to have a PPG-2 rating through the USPPA, which I think is pretty reasonable. It's basically to ensure that any pilot flying here that gets a permit is gonna be above average skill level. They're gonna be a safe pilot, make good decisions. Also, we need to get insurance, which is understandable. It's about $300 something for a year-long policy. Just in case there is an accident, we have coverage. Next, you have to purchase a permit through the township, and a lot of people commented on the last video saying this is just a money grab from the township. Well, they only charge $10 for residents and $20 for non-residents, so really not a big expense. Beyond that, there's a list of rules. 2 of the more important ones are no flying before 10 a.m., which sucks kinda because it cuts our flying opportunities in half, because we obviously fly sunrise or sunset, but understandable for the neighbors so that they don't get a lot of noise. Another one that they put in place is saying that we can only have 4 pilots in the air at once. So we're gonna have to kinda figure that out as it happens, see how many people actually get down here on nice days with their permits and kind of take turns or do something. The day that we left for our last van life trip, I picked up my permit at the township and then we departed on a 2-month journey, came back, and no one had really flown here that often. A couple guys flew maybe 2-3 times, but as soon as I got home, I got word that there was the potential that they were gonna change it and ban it, and there was talk that there was a neighbor that was complaining. That kind of freaked us out because it's been a couple months. We didn't even get to prove to see if any of the new rules worked or not. So we went to a meeting, we gave our side of the story, we heard everyone else's side of the story, and the conclusion we came to was everything's staying the way it is. We have the permits, we have the rules, but we're skating a really fine line. We have to be on our best behavior, we have to have complaints to a minimum, no accidents, no incidents. We can't push our luck here, or else things might change.
Well, there she is, the legendary park where dreams were made and babies were born. Several babies, to be exact. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about some of the things we're going to be doing to go above and beyond. Obviously, we're going to follow the new rules to a T from the township. We're going to continue following the FAR 103 rules to a T. But we also want to just go above and beyond as much as we can. Obviously, the new permit system was put in place for a couple of reasons. The primary one, I think, is to reduce the number of pilots flying here, because that was a big issue in summers past, and an understandable issue. It was also a little bit to reduce liability, as we have to sign a waiver and we have to be skilled pilots with insurance. But it's also to make sure that we don't disturb the neighbors, and we do our best to not disturb the neighbors regardless. But as I mentioned, we kind of discovered that there's one neighbor in this area that doesn't like us, which he has every right to. But now that we know where he's located, we can do an even better job of avoiding his area. I see a lot of other paramotor pilots take the exact opposite approach, where they'll be like, there's some guy that's complaining, F that guy. I'm gonna go buzz over his house, I'm gonna drop smoke right on his roof. But that is obviously not the right decision to make. We gotta do everything in our power to reduce the impact on this fella and make life easy for him, because I sympathize with him and I think he should sympathize with us. Beyond that, this summer, as we start flying more and more often, our plan is to rotate landing areas, or LZs, as much as possible. We have 3, maybe 4 in the vicinity, and we'll likely just switch it up as much as we can to reduce the impact. Also, when we do fly from here, our plan is to just literally take off like I've done and exit the area. Don't linger over the park too much. Dang, there's a lot of snow geese down there. A big old flock of them. Let's not have a bird strike. And also, I plan on attending all of the town meetings to kind of report back to the town and say, you know, this has been our experience for last month, see if anyone has any complaints, and be ready to address them. I think that's really the best we can do, and I think as long as we follow those guidelines, I think there's not much that can go wrong. What's up, Jeff? It's cold up here, right? A Nivea getting ozone touching tips? Oh my god! Someone call the conspiracy police. Aside from the whole park discussion topic, I want to tell you guys that this weekend, right after I post this video, Jacqueline and I are headed out on a big trip, and we're going to Europe. That's all I'm gonna say. Where did Jeff go? Jeff, are you okay? Oh, Christ. Where did Jeff go? I ought to start calling Jeff the Blue Tarp or something. Because I feel like Jeff, every wing he owns is blue. And a lot of times we're flying, there he is, and he goes missing. And then I start looking for him, and I'm like, where the hell's Jeff? And then I always see someone with a blue tarp in their backyard, like covering logs or whatever. And I'm like, oh no, Jeff crashed. But then I'm like, oh, is that a blue tarp? It's not Jeff. Jeff, aka the Blue Tarp, aka the fastest man alive. Look at this. I'm gonna come in off power, stealth mode, no noise, Can't even hear my motor from the ground right now. Gonna be super silent. Hopefully I've estimated my glide right. And we'll plop down.
Going through a tunnel. So, successful flight back at the park. So, the response to the first video I made about this topic, I think, was overwhelmingly positive. But obviously, a lot of people have opinions. Everyone has an opinion. And some people were like, you gotta fight, you gotta tell them that they don't have any right to restrict you in any way, shape, or form. This is not right. You gotta stand up for your cause and all this. And then there were other people that were like, yeah, the park is never gonna give you any permits. Good luck with that. You're shut down. Rest in peace. So everyone's across the board, but I think in my heart that we're doing the right thing. We're doing our very best to compromise and keep peace and set the foundation for a successful preservation of this site. Some people that were arguing that we need to fight for zero restrictions, unfortunately, I don't think they're right, because there's no way that it's sustainable to just have an open park for anyone and their brother to show up and fly from. There's just one, way too many people that would fly, and two, eventually, I feel like you're gonna get some yahoo that doesn't know what he's doing, and someone's gonna have an accident. So I think putting some restrictions and some rules in place is a good idea to limit the numbers, keep everything safe, and if someone's being a yahoo, they can pull their permit, and it kind of creates a good system to keep things in order. But at the end of the day, I welcome you guys to leave your opinion down below. Let me know what you think of the permit system and what you think of our plans for the future. Like I mentioned, stick around for the next couple videos where we will be traveling to Europe. Gonna be an awesome time, meeting some new people and doing some new things. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Till the next one, peace out. Zip.